Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and as well you know, I have held just about every job in professional wrestling except selling popcorn, and I'm here joined as always by my friend, my tag team partner, my cohort. Cohort?
What's a cohort?
I don't know, but that's what you are to me.
What's a cohort?
My fellow ring crew member.
Here's your whore coat.
Whore coat. My whore coat when I go out, and I want to court, you know what I'm saying? You're part of my...
Calm down, JB Dundee. Calm down.
Zane Riley, thank you very much for joining me as always.
Thank you, Jake. How are you?
And as always, we are joined by a non-wrestling fan, a fellow improviser friend of mine, who may not be a friend after this podcast anymore. We don't know. We'll see what happens. Drea Leonetti, Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thanks
Drea.
for the invitation, I think. So, we'll see how this goes.
That's about how everybody starts. Like, I think. Thanks for this invitation. And also, we have a very special guest joining us today, who is a participant in the particular show that we will be discussing today. The one, the only, the lovely Sojo Bolt joining us today.
Yay!
I'm here.
She's here. Reluctantly,
It's
you're
my
here.
house. Of course I'm going to be. I live here. I get my mail here.
No.
This is where Malika lives.
Right.
Yeah, she can go anywhere, but I appreciate you joining the program. It took a lot of strings to get you on this program, Sojo.
Yep, it took a lot of strings to get me out of bed today.
Yeah.
I know.
Had to go down the hall and say, "Hey, Sojo, you want to come out?"
I said, do I have to put pants on for this? And he was like, no. I'm like, I'm gonna put pants on for this.
I'm in.
I'm in.
But yeah, a very special treat to get you here because you're having a participant of the show that we're discussing. Before we discuss this show, quick general question we always do with non-wrestling fans.
Okay.
Drea, can you please tell me what you know about professional wrestling, what's your exposure to it before you got this DVD?
Well, I'm familiar with it and know what it is, and I remember as a kid watching the cartoon with all the big wrestlers, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan. They were it wasn't the Hulkamaniacs. I don't know what the cartoon
Rock
was.
and Wrestling.
Rock and Wrestling, yes.
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Yes.
Watched it every Saturday, and I'm familiar with them, so I actually recognized some of the names in the video.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's supposed to be good or who's bad or whatever.
It's all bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where it ends up. But the show we are discussing was Total Nonstop Action's Victory Road 2009. The show happened July 19th of 2009 in Orlando, Florida at the infamous and famous Impact Zone, which the attendance for this show was clocked at probably about 1,100 people, 1,100 people at the show.
That sounds about right.
1,000 at the beginning, 100 at the end.
Yeah.
1,000 and
Well,
100.
I'm pretty sure I was in the middle, so I probably got about 500 to 600 in there.
You're still doing pretty well for the rest of the
I
company.
felt good about it.
But before we dive headfirst into the show, I must make note of the promotion of this show and the DVD cover, which has all of the beautiful people in bikinis.
Yeah.
And Drea, when I handed you this DVD and I said, could you please watch this wrestling show for me, did you lose any respect for me?
Well, one, when I got it, I was shocked, and two, I did not know what TNA stood for. I assumed automatically, like probably most people, tits and ass. I was like, is this an all-female wrestling show? I had no idea what it was, so I was surprised.
Just, all-female wrestling promotions do not have to feature just all tits and ass. We like a little bit, but, we try to stick to the athletic competition. Mm-hmm. I just want to throw that out there real quick.
and speaking of athletic competitions, match number 1, we see Angelina Love taking on Tara, most notably known as Victoria in WWE. Mm-hmm. But if the DVD cover didn't turn you off immediately, Drea...
The butt shots did. That is the first thing. They come out and the cameras are straight up in their hoo-ahs. All over them. And, all of them. And there's 4 girls that get in the ring. So it's not just, shot, okay, let's talk some trash, shot. It's shot, and I'm talking butt shots, over and over. I was, I blushed.
Can I just say that entrance has made those girls a lot of money?
Yeah.
I can totally believe it.
just getting in the ring has made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not the wrestling. It was the ring entrance every time.
And that's why they're on the cover of the DVD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It would have been not legal to put their butts on the cover.
Right.
But if they could have.
If they could have put their butts on the cover, you would have been like, oh, that's Angelina, that's Madison, and that is Velvet.
And this is a porn.
I didn't know. So
Like that's another thing too. I completely forgot about that, and I didn't realize that the Beautiful People match was first. So like I was like already when I was watching, like, oh God, what does Drea think of me right now?
I was like, it's gonna. Well, and also you were like, yeah, well, the company I work for has a lot of these, and I was like, do you work for ABN? Because I know a lot of people that work for
I
ABN.
live next door to AEB.
Oh, yay!
And he's got this creepy mustache. All of a sudden, it was like all the pieces fit together of my personal life for you.
I had no idea. It's like, I don't know Jake at all.
What kind of wrestling does he do?
Well, speaking of the wrestling, also too, Tara comes out obviously with a spider. I guess.
Fucking hate spiders.
Yeah.
It's the worst part of the show for me.
Well, don't worry about it. It was safely secured in a plastic container that obviously holds like autographed baseballs.
Baseballs, exactly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thing about baseballs, you don't need breathing holes in those, and there are no breathing holes in this cube of a spider.
They probably got it from Don West, who worked at the Home Shopping Network, who's one of the commentators on the show. So maybe he's like, hey, I got these laying around. Where I work has a ton of these, I got them.
Right.
Can I just ruin the illusion for you? They did have animal handlers on point there to make sure that the spider was safe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
Wow.
they cared about the spider, of course.
Well, how much did that animal handler get paid compared to some of the
I
other
have no. I'm
people?
sure the animal I'm sure the trainer and the spider both got paid more than I did. Yeah.
Just to clarify. Just to clarify.
Just to show you where you stand on the scale of wrestler to animal
It's cool.
comparisons.
Oh yeah.
As if it's not already a porn at this point, referee Slick Johnson.
Yep. Let's go there.
Was that his name? Yes, his name
it
was
was.
Slick. I remember
Slick.
later on when they caught him in the shower.
Slick Johnson.
Slick Johnson.
Yeah.
Slick Johnson, beautiful people. So, anyways, other than all of that, Drea, what do you think of the match?
Well, I'll tell you. One, I was super impressed by their makeup. Like, it did not budge. And it stayed in place. Makeup was fierce and on point. I will say that as a makeup artist. Like, I appreciated that. I was surprised at the athleticism because they actually really are. Even though they're these boobs, I don't know how they move those puppies around and keep them safe and not pop one. But they can really, like, all the flipping and the landing on their backs. I was like, that just killed my back watching that. But I was impressed by that, just as all the acrobatics and stuff. I was surprised, honestly.
Yeah, because obviously when you saw their entrance...
As it started, I didn't know that was going to happen.
But yeah, athletically, I don't think this is a bad match whatsoever. This is a good match.
As the show progresses, arguably pretty good, actually. Compared to some things on the show, it's a pretty alright match.
Yeah, the finish came off exactly the way it was supposed to. With the foot on the rope and the controversy there, of course, which is a big deal later on. And then, of course, Tara gets the spider out. Now, I got to ask you this, Josie.
Okay.
Sojo, whatever. Babe, let me ask you this question. Because you probably know Tara and stuff like that very, very closely.
That's my buddy.
That's your buddy.
Yep.
Your roommate when you were on the road.
We were roommates on the road.
Now, my question is, was she comfortable with spiders before she started carrying a spider to the ring? Because that's what was always my worst fear, that with my name being Jake, that I would get in a position to get hired by WWE and they're like, ooh, Jake, you could be the new Jake the Snake. And I'm terrified of snakes. And I would just be like, you know what, just fire me. If you want me to handle snakes for the rest of my career, no, I'll just fire me now. But like, was she comfortable with spiders at all?
I think she's pretty comfortable with spiders because you remember her finisher is the Widow's Peak.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where that comes from. Her finisher was, very unique and very devastating.
Yeah.
Remember? I mean, we never really talked about the spider, but she's an animal lover. Like, she's huge into animal rescue and stuff like that, especially Dachshunds. But she had no fear of that spider. She was all about carrying it around and doing stuff with it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the thing. I don't know if that's something she had to overcome or
No.
she's just like.
If you remember, she had her own custom car shop, and she ended up naming it after a spider. Like she really incorporated that into her character, pretty big time actually.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so solid first match. We know it's probably one of the best matches on the show.
Yeah.
Like, as we found later.
Progresses.
As it progresses.
But before we get to the next match, we have an interview segment with Kurt Angle in the back, where he basically says, "Don't expect a pay-per-view quality match out of it."
I thought that was weird. I didn't know why he had to set that up, but I don't know what else he does. So
There's lots of things.
He wins gold medals, actually.
oh.
He's a shoot Olympiad.
Yeah.
But don't expect that shit here, guys.
Yeah, don't expect that paying for this.
No.
And I like how he didn't even bother to shave for this pay-per-view at all, or tan, or...
Not a bad thing, though. He's a pretty good-looking silver fox with that salt and pepper beard.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Jake Manning on a Sunday show at Mooresville National Guard Armory. That's for sure. Like, off
Working
day.
just about the same.
Yeah.
Just about the same. Don't expect a lot out there.
Don't expect a lot, for
I feel like I woke up with that guy.
Anyways.
Was there ever a story, because I noticed it later in his match, of that... I think I was watching TNA at the time, actually, I just don't recall. The really bad rose that he had on his shirt, and then there's also a rose on his singlet. Like, is there ever a thing behind that? Like, just wearing roses all of a sudden?
Well, because he was the main event Mafia.
Yeah.
And because of, like, the
he
image
was
of
the
being
Don,
a Don.
he was the leader,
and
okay.
giving... Either that or he's a big fan of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe,
Like,
yeah.
that's the only clarification I can come up with, so...
I think you got it right on that one.
Yeah. He loves The Bachelor?
Well, and also too, Jenna's from Survivor, so then you incorporate The Bachelor. Maybe the main event Mafia was all about a way for them to get into the world of reality television.
Maybe.
So
This wrestling thing doesn't work out, guys.
if this thing doesn't work out, we're gonna have Booker T and Scott Steiner go on Amazing Race. Like,
Oh, please. Hey, I love you. Here's a rose.
I feel like all the people in the main event Mafia were making enough money to not be thinking about their next move. I feel like they were all like, yeah, I showed up for this.
Yeah.
I'll show up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep paying.
Keep paying. Anyways, match number 2, Daniels versus Matt Morgan. Any thoughts about any of this? Maybe most notably, Christopher Daniels' stash.
Mustache, yes.
Okay. Daniels, is he the guy also called Blueprint?
No, that was Matt Morgan.
That was the guy who was
other
taking
guy.
on.
Oh, I wrote down Morgan and Blueprint. We
Yeah.
did that match.
Yeah.
I don't remember the mustache, but I remember the Blueprint guy is giant.
Yes.
He's humongous.
Yes.
And the other guy was much smaller,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I am.
Does all the flippy stuff.
And he wanted to join I wrote down such nerdy notes.
Oh.
He wants to join the main event Mafia.
Well, who didn't? They had they had matching tracksuits.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Most people in wrestling do things only to get matching
I
tracksuits.
wanted the tracksuits. Oh man.
But one thing I noticed was, and I think this was the Blueprint guy too, not the guy that did all the flips and stuff, his back tattoo was fried. Like, it looked like he had been laying in the tanning bed way too much, and it was just, you couldn't even tell what it was. Or my resolution on my
possibility.
TV is not very good.
What was
but
that
his
then?
back was red.
Yeah. Well, you were watching a DVD. It wasn't like we're watching a Blu-ray, so we couldn't
Right.
really get to the bottom of it.
Well, I don't know. I
Look
don't
that
know.
up. Matt Morgan's back tat.
And also, part of the reason why he called himself the Blueprint, not only was he a huge Jay-Z fan, but also too,
Really?
I'm
There you
so
go.
dumb on this.
There you go.
Holy
it-
shit.
it's in his Wikipedia, and also too, there is an article, and I remember this being a big deal on TNA because this is about the time that I was watching too as well, Zane. In August of 2008, as a part of Operation Immortality, they shot his DNA into space. Into hopes that, like, alien life, or if a catastrophe happens with this Earth, that his...
Is he the guy that's got the 167 IQ? That was a comment one of the commentators made. With that 167 IQ, he's doing... I just thought that was a weird comment.
I do remember that being... them
It's
always telling how
fantastic.
smart he is. and stuff
Okay,
like that,
okay.
Yes. But yeah, that was the idea, that here's this big human specimen, and we're going to take his... I don't know what DNA, like, if they got some hair, or they're just like, hey, can you jizz in a cup and we're going to shoot into space? Like...
Gross.
I feel like they use something a little more stable.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like...
I don't know either. I do not work at NASA.
Oh,
It's a demon face thingy.
Oh.
It's his back tattoo.
no, didn't look good on screen.
No.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure his wife likes it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
Mm.
Anyways, anything more about this match with Daniels versus Matt Morgan?
Daniels is awesome.
Of course. You know what? Textbook on... Because the whole match is like... I think Matt Daniels was probably in the doghouse at this time, so they don't even call him by his full name, Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
He's just Daniels, and basically the whole process of the match is to make Matt Morgan look good. So it's just the situation of like, I gotta make this guy look good, but I gotta keep something together. It's just a textbook on how you do that. That's basically all this match really is at the end of the day. So, but yeah, just... It's all my observations.
I'll say, if I can,
Please.
not knowing the wrestling stuff, the choreography that goes on between wrestlers, like clearly there's a choreography that you guys have to plan ahead of time, because those moves and jumps and flips and stuff, you'd break your neck if your buddy wasn't there, like on some of them.
It doesn't have to be
as we'll see
choreographed.
later.
It does not have to be choreographed. We don't have to. I mean, I hate that word, but it doesn't have to be. Real pro wrestling isn't choreographed or called ahead of time.
Really?
Real pro wrestlers don't have to do that.
Well, it's to give you an analogy of kind of what's going on. I always equated it's very similar to improv.
Right.
There are certain things that you and I always know when we do an improv scene. Like if I look at you across the stage and give you the eyes,
Yeah.
that's almost a signal to you to come in and jump in the scene with me.
Yes.
And then in the situation of like if I'm having a scene with Zane, and I go, oh yeah, well I was talking to your mother last week. If I bring in a third person, that would give you a signal to come in and be the mother.
Right.
You know, sometimes what Josie is, saying a good pro wrestling is exactly like that in the sense that
I got you.
I'll do something, I'll react to something, and then that gives you the signal to go ahead to do this. And it could be simple as whipping somebody off and get a hip toss, or it's a situation of somebody does something and like, oh, here's a good time to cut him off, and you cut him off.
So you guys already have an idea of what's going to happen, whether you planned it or not. Like you kind of know if he does this, you'll do that, or she does this.
I think if you're like the veteran of the match or the person leading, you should know what your opponent does.
Right.
Because you always want to make your opponent look good no matter what, but you always want to make yourself look good too.
Right.
No matter who's winning.
Yeah.
You want it always to look like there's two able bodies in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
And nobody knows what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Right. No. Right.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But it is very, like, I always equate it to the certain things of improv. Like,
Yeah, I didn't even think about
If
that.
I do this, this has to happen.
Right.
If this happens, we have to do this. And pro wrestling is very much the same way, except there's a lot more things with it as well.
Okay.
So,
Very cool.
that's the best way to put it. Next up is Dr. Stevie with Daphne.
So weird. It was so weird. Because I don't know any of the backstories of these interviews that happen in between stuff. Daphne is just weird. I don't know what she's doing. And then this guy being a doctor.
Well, that's the funny thing.
That's hilarious.
His white scrubs say professional therapist, but therapists don't wear scrubs.
He
Is
looked
that right?
like a
Am I
prisoner.
wrong?
Right, no.
Okay, I don't
Agreed.
know. I don't see a therapist, but I don't think they wear scrubs.
I've been, they don't wear scrubs.
Okay.
Scrubs
They
are
make
normally-
way too much money to wear scrubs.
Yes, that's what I thought. Like, shouldn't you be wearing like a sweater vest
Yeah.
type thing, or a corduroy jacket with leather patches on it?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like that's what he should be wearing. But yeah, the whole video package of leading up to him in Abyss. What were your thoughts on that, Drea?
I liked that one. Like that was that was the most like story-ish and like kind of out there one to me. I thought, okay, so these are some of my weird thoughts. Was I bet that Dr. Steve was a lot cooler than other wrestlers, just wearing cotton scrubs, because like the plastic pants and the vinyl pants and stuff. That's got to be hot and sweaty.
Like temperately cooler.
Yeah.
Like degrees.
Yes.
Degrees. He was not a cool guy. I also thought that
You're saying Big Stevie Cool was not.
It makes it- that name is facetious.
but I really liked the Abyss guy, because he was like scary actually, especially with that mask and like his mental illness behaviors, like the weird clapping, and the crowd went bananas for him. They loved him. I liked that one. I thought it was really good and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know DQ Also, we see the appearance of blood. What?
Yeah, it was the weirdest blood ever. It was so bright. It was so bright and red. Like, it wasn't... Like, real blood is... When it hits air, it gets darker. So, anyway. But I know it was real.
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
It's still real blood.
Right? Sorry. He's just real healthy. How about that?
He's definitely...
He's definitely healthy.
Very healthy man.
Very healthy man.
Very healthy man. Also to Lauren, the interviewer, involved
Lauren
with this.
Conrad?
Yes.
Is that her
What?
name?
Yeah, Josie. What's her story? Like,
She's so nice. Oh, I miss her. I think she works the Golf Channel now. Does interviews and does TV spots for them.
okay, so
She's-
this was a part of her promo reel to get that job.
No, I mean she was just one of our backstage interviewers. People loved working with her, and the crowd always responded to her.
Yeah, and she comes running out. So
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
her and Dr. Steve had something going on.
But really, her and Abyss is more like the Incredible
Oh,
Hulk
shit.
and Black Widow kind of thing,
Oh,
where
calm
that's
down.
the person
Yeah.
that calms him down,
Yes.
kind of thing. And she never really wanted to be a wrestler or anything. Like, she's doing great, just doing
Yeah.
interviews, and she's really good at that. But it was just like one of those organic things that just kind of happened, and they just ran with it
Yeah.
for once. Yeah, good for TNA for her.
So you're saying that TNA helped a plot line of the Avengers?
Yes.
Like,
I love it.
like, is that what we're saying?
That's
That they
what we-
inspired-
Maybe it was shot on Universal Studios.
They're right there.
I don't know.
It's possible.
It was shot at the studios at Universal, so maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, like everything about this match, it's typical. Abyss is good at these no DQ things, and Stevie, of course, he was in ECW, so he's well aware of all these things. But this taser,
Yes.
let's
yeah.
I feel like this is like everything's going as well, and according to plan,
Yeah.
and finishes are happening. But when this happens, it's like I feel like this was like the beginning of some wheels falling off on this pay-per-view. Like.
Daphne taking that real gnarly bump while bringing it to her. Just slams her head against the stairs.
That was good,
And then
That taser,
he tries
though,
to set him on fire with a taser somehow.
like, tasers don't work that way.
Mhm.
I've been hit with a taser before in a wrestling match, and that's the and that's when Abyss held it up. That's the cue that you hit the button so you see the electricity.
Oh.
But he held it up, and then he just jammed it into him, and smoke came off.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Maybe he was marinated.
Maybe.
And
Yeah.
that was him cooking. Like,
Oh,
I don't know.
What if Universal had like an insurance thing? Like, you can't use a real fucking taser, man. It's Universal.
Like,
So they had to get some gimmick, like fake little taser that they're like, well, how do we show these gonna get electrocuted? Make him smoke.
Yeah.
He can smolder some.
yeah, but like it's still, you could have just hit him with a black hole slam and that's it.
Yeah.
And or throw some thumbtacks down, but like to hit him with a smoking taser, like.
Who was the ad wizard that came up with that one?
I know, but like just hit him with a real taser. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid good money, Stevie. I've done it for far less.
They do use real tasers.
I have,
Yeah.
and it's not fun. It's not fun.
No, that's to say you never get hit with the real taser unless you're fucking psychopath Jake Manning. For some reason, he'll let him get hit with the real taser. But normally the taser is real, but you never actually zap them.
Right,
It's the
right.
idea of
Mine was set up that way. Like it was rigged a certain way that it wasn't supposed to do that. But what happened was that the condensation on my
Oh.
chest, when it got close, like when you get close, you're supposed to almost let go of the button. Well, they got close enough and didn't let the button go that there was a spark that jumped off of it and shot right into me.
Oh, ouch.
So
No.
yeah, I did that for $40. I think Big Stevie Cool could do it for
a little bit.
a little bit
more.
a little bit more.
Did you kick out?
No.
Okay, good man.
I wanted to run away when the fans started chanting one more time.
No!
One more time.
Oh, hey.
Fuck you guys.
Like,
Absolutely not. Do not even ask.
Never.
but anyways, then after that we have the Mick Foley promo where he's kind of getting everybody up. It's not much to there.
He's saying, hey, I know what Kurt said earlier, but go ahead and give him some pay-per-view style matches, guys.
Yeah, we've kind of got to give these people their money's worth.
Don't listen to Kurt.
Don't listen to Kurt. Don't listen to him whatsoever. Anyways, and we move on to match number 4. Team 3D taking on British Invasion for the IWGP Tag Title.
I want to know what you think about that. I really
Okay, so first off, I thought the Brits were hot.
I was gonna
Super
ask.
giddy.
Yeah,
like,
that was my immediate thought, and I think they had real accents,
Yeah.
or at least the one guy. I didn't know if they were really
They're all
British.
real.
Two was British, one's from Wales.
Well, I've never seen anyone from the UK that was that good looking. So not to be ugly, I'm sure there's
they don't all look like that.
No.
That is not what they look like.
because like even like
They were the blueprint.
Yeah, they're the
Send
blueprint.
them into outer space. Put their jizz in a cup.
like the guy, the middle guy, the biggest one who
Rob Terry.
didn't go in much.
Yeah.
and that's good.
He was like just huge and muscles like
Yes.
on muscles. That they were fun. They were fun to look at.
Are you blushing?
Sorry,
Do
you
you
guys
need a minute?
You were fun during that match. Wow.
Yeah. Jeez. Let's just get a little warm in here.
Oh, but I did not understand their little hand gesture. Their little shake their head and their I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
It was the
What's
two
up,
guys got
yeah,
there.
they did it's the old Regal used to do it back in the day. It's the little taunt, I guess you would say.
British
Okay.
wrestlers like
Yeah.
loosening out your wrist, you know.
Very hoity-toity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, better beat the shit out of you in real life.
Really? It's out to hurt.
I do like the vignette that happened before the match where Devon said, "I guess that's how those bitches roll across the pond."
Right.
Like that's a line that I feel like is underused in professional
No,
wrestling.
you're right. You're right.
I feel like that should be used more often.
Far more. Every time a British man is involved, that line should be used.
Yeah, like anytime that Zack Sabre Jr. does anything here, I will immediately tweet back, "That's how those bitches roll
Across the
the
pond."
pond." Yes, that's exactly.
Every time someone puts a little gif of some move that he does, I'm going to write that there.
Yes.
I do that later. I'm going to find him here.
And then, of course, the chant "You're a wanker" broke out in the middle of this match. A lot of fun. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Two great teams going at it. I don't feel that "You're a wanker" chant was organic. I think someone fed them that one.
Yeah, I feel like that was fed too. And
Trying to
also,
tell me the Universal Studios people paying to see Mickey Mouse don't know what a wanker is.
yeah, and same with like feeding the American flag in there for Bubba to hold up before the front of the match.
Mhm.
You know, like. But yeah, all around good match.
Just a bunch of hot dudes just doing hot dude stuff. And,
Yeah. I like how Josie immediately like knew Drea.
Yeah.
Like
I want to know what you thought about that.
They were pretty.
There was a match?
I didn't know what you're talking
What
about.
did you think about that entrance?
Yeah.
that entrance.
See, that's the one that should have been on the cover of the DVD.
That's what they should have done a dual side.
Maybe,
One side
yeah.
with the beautiful people, the other side with
Yes!
the British invasion.
That would be perfect.
For the ladies.
DVDs
Yes.
for dudes, DVDs for chicks. That's why
Yeah.
TNA. That's the box of branding they should be doing.
Exactly.
They're getting all the perv money.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Every bit.
Yes.
Every bit.
And what did happen with the British invasion? Like
What
they
do you
were.
mean?
like-
Where are they now? Or
Yeah, well, why didn't like
I-
obviously attractive guys? Obviously, that's gonna bring in your female
what happens
demographic.
to everybody who works for a company that they can't decide on storylines and
Rob Terry stayed around for a long time.
yeah, I mean
He became Scott Steiner basically after Scott Steiner left.
well he was part of that crazy circus thing that he was under a mask for a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I think he stuck it out the longest.
Yeah,
like
he
he really
definitely
did
did.
try to make it work.
Magnus was around for a long time too.
Yeah,
until-
Magnus was around for a really long time.
He
too.
became world champion. and everything.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
Mr. Mickey James now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's gone to bigger, better things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the best of the wrestlers just kind of left and went to do other wrestling things.
I mean, Doug Williams is still doing his thing over in the UK. He's still very active, and Rob Terry's doing his thing. He's a personal trainer. He has all these supplement sponsorships, and he's still doing his thing. He still wrestles a little bit here and
Little bit
there,
here and
but
Good bit of WrestleCade.
that's a good question. Is he?
You get him on the girl show. Get him on the girl show.
I don't know. Don't care honestly, but that's okay. No offense.
We'll just go back and watch this video of him coming
We're
out
not
again.
close. How about that?
Huh?
We're not close.
You're not close to Rob Terry?
No.
You did manage him for sure.
Really? Because I know a lady that would love to meet
No!
Rob Terry.
I'm scared of guys that size, but
He's so
they're
nice.
still not bad to look at. So
He's actually a sweetheart. He's super, super nice. I did manage him for a short time at OVW.
Yeah, I remember you telling me a fascinating story that actually inspired me to take better care of myself.
Oh, is it about oatmeal?
Yes, it is.
Great. Yes, yes.
Because-
Go on.
and
So Rob Terry, obviously, you see his body. He's in incredible shape. That kind of shape doesn't come without hard work, though. You can say whatever you want about supplements, steroids, stuff like that, but that man works out.
Yeah.
And he works out very hard to get that body. So obviously all the wrestlers at the time of that Ohio Valley Wrestling, Rob Terry was there learning to wrestle better. So the storyline that we were playing on our television show is I was the manager of him and a lot of the champions on the show. And it was a fun angle. And I loved it. But one of the things is, there's this big genetic freak of a guy. And all the guys are like, how do I get a body like yours? Oh my God, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta eat? And they're like, man, you gotta put good things in your body if you want good things to come out of your body.
Right.
And so he would write down like diet plans for the guys, like this is what you gotta do. And the guy at the time I happened to be dating was like, look, man, look at all this oatmeal you have on here. I hate oatmeal. Can I eat anything else to get this? And he looks at him and he goes, just eat the fucking oatmeal.
And that's why I have oatmeal every single day. Because
That's awesome.
if that's the one thing that he's like, you can't bargain on, then you
Just
eat oatmeal
eat it.
every
You're gonna
single
do it.
day. Like,
Just eat the fucking.
Fucking oatmeal.
drink the fucking water, eat the fucking oatmeal.
Just do
So
it.
gladly, if those are the two things you say in a rage to people to get yourself in shape, I will take those pieces of advice.
I'm gonna try to work that into every day. Just eat the fucking oatmeal.
Seriously, I had oatmeal today.
I'm not even eating oatmeal. Eat the fucking oatmeal. Now we come to the real main event.
We come to the real main event.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Match number 5, Jenna versus Charmel.
Where you going? Shot time.
There we go.
Josie now has to take another shot, but just not hiding anymore. Let's put it
No.
on
I'm
the
not hiding
table.
my shots. I'm just gonna do it on the open now.
Just do it out of the open now.
Yeah,
It's all right.
If you hear bottles clinging, well,
that's what's going on.
Match number 5, Jenna with Awesome Kong in her corner versus Charmel and our special guest, Sojo Bolt.
now here's what I hate about this. There's no video package for this. It just happens. And I
A little
feel
build up. I feel.
this is the one that needed the most explaining.
Yeah.
Like to see, because Charmel, who I already know, but I didn't know who this other girl was because I didn't watch Survivor then. I don't watch fucking Survivor now. So who she is very lost on me. But the situation of why this match is happening is never really
And
prominently displayed.
And it definitely needs explaining because Charmel is the wife of Booker T, who's in the main event Mafia, and Jenna is in the main event Mafia. So what the fuck is that about?
Well, and I will say, not knowing anything and watching it, so I was super excited to see you. But when Jenna comes out, I'm like, who is this skanky hoe that just got here?
hoe.
Everybody
Just some
else is
skanky
in
hoe.
shape or they're scary and big, and she's just like nasty.
She
Except
put
for her
shit-
butt,
Yeah.
which we got a
Which
good
the
view of
camera,
that
the
again.
camera was right there for
Which,
her.
if you're Charmel's trainer and Kong is Jenna's trainer, did Kong teach her how to get in the ring that way? Because that I would pay good money to see Kong do. Because I have this soft spot in my heart for Kong,
So you're
and
gonna
I
be
want to
watching.
see that shit. I want to see Kong get in the ring that
I
way.
think you need to tell her because she's in the new glow.
Oh, I know, I saw.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like,
And,
I'm so happy for her because I know she's
Another
a huge fan of
female.
Glow.
No wait, it was Kate Nash. I think was also announced for it now.
Who?
She's not a wrestler.
Oh,
She's
great.
an actress, but Katie Nash does a lot of TV shows.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that entrance, like, I don't know if she was like, she saw like the first match or like she saw the beautiful people. Like, you know what? The real key to female wrestling is your
Buttholes.
entrance. And just showing your
It's
butthole.
all butthole.
So I'm going to show my butthole.
No butthole, no care from what I
And not
hear.
even like, I'm going to tease it or make this some sort of like sexual. Like, no, I'm just going to straight up just, like I'm bending over to pick up keys.
Even her outfit looked like she just picked it up at like Ross.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, oh, let me just go in and try this out.
This is what wrestling
She's
girls wear.
So amateur
This
compared
looks
to
like
everybody.
what wrestling girls wear.
Well, I almost feel like between Charmel, because Charmel was wearing an evening gown.
dress.
Which I love because that is what you always see her in. Why would you expect her to be in something different when she's out of her element?
Thank you, Zane.
I loved it, especially when feathers were going fucking everywhere.
Fantastic. I loved that part.
And then she just wore regular wrestling boots. It was almost like
Yeah, that was also. I didn't know that was a thing. For me, it is.
Wait a second, Zane. That's a thing for you.
Ball gowns
That's
and combat boots is a thing.
I think I know Zane Riley enough to know that is a thing for him. So,
Yep,
yes.
that's me.
And so what I'm saying is we get Awesome Kong in an evening gown with some boots on.
And do that weird entrance thing. Guys will never
Sold.
see me again.
So,
She doesn't even break my heart here later when she hurts Josie. I'm just gonna say.
okay, look, nobody hurt me.
I got
fall
paid.
was real.
I got paid for that.
I
bump.
got paid for that bump, but we're gonna all do the best we can. That's all we can ever do, right? So,
Well, if her best is basically swatting you away like a fly as you fall from the ground, yeah, that was the best she did. You know?
I'm just a 128-pound black girl.
Is that-
Yeah, so.
You know, she's some very large, 3-ish black lady that could have easily caught me, but we're not there yet. We're still early in the match.
Well, let me break down the scenario for you since you weren't familiar with the storyline. Charmel is in the main event Mafia, obviously because of Booker. Jenna is the main event Mafia too because Kevin Nash brought her in as an investor because she won Survivor. Remember, she won $1 million.
Got
So
it.
they brought her in as a character, an investor.
Okay.
So they were having issues as women often do who are in the same group. There was a backstage makeup room brawl where definitely Charmel got the best of Jenna on that one. I did not know why we needed to do a whole match about it, but I was totally cool because Terry Taylor pulled me aside and goes, we're going to get you a little camera time. And I was like, okay, great!
Because that means TV time for me.
I totally need some camera time right now. It was interesting because he wanted me with Charmel, and we were totally okay with it because we're like, yay, Black Girl Magic. But the thing that they wanted us to do during that match was not very wrestler-esque. No female wrestler would stand up. Like if I'm a wrestler, obviously, or was at the time, and they wanted me to jump up on the ring apron after a spot and go stop and put my hand out like
Colt Cabana?
stop. Yes, like Colt Cabana.
Like Colt Cabana, the wrestler?
Don't be giving Colt Cabana. This is not his podcast. Okay.
True that. Fuck Colt Cabana.
Yeah, fuck Colt Cabana.
Hey, Colt.
Put my hand out and go stop, and then they want us to start singing and stop in the name of love. Like what a we were told that we needed to do that, and we even practiced it a couple times. But every time it happened, we looked at each other and we walked it back, and she goes, "We're not doing that." And I'm like, "Thank you, we're not doing."
You're
that.
gonna acapella sing it,
Yeah,
or is there
we
a guy in
were
the back like,
literally-
I'm ready to hit the button to play the song?
Terrible racism, but because that's what every black girl
Taylor
dreams
racist?
of. He loves black women. It's just inappropriate.
Yes, I
Inappropriate.
totally agree.
Yeah, I mean you're wanking off to it, but that's not.
Yeah.
That's not cool. So we didn't do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we didn't do it. But it was weird, and it was rushed, and it could have been interesting. We made the most of it. They wanted those two girls to catfight, and we put together a very simple match for them, and it was terrible.
Was there any actual, like, I mean, Charmel, I assume, has at least an ounce of some sort of wrestling training through Booker.
She
But did
was
Jenna
a-
have any?
Zero.
And they didn't think to maybe give her a minute of it or two? Like, hey, so here's kind of what you do. And instead of her just kind of...
The air slaps?
That was crazy.
The slapping was hilarious.
I love the slaps because I'm on every episode
Shut
of
up.
Botchamania now because of it. Because Botchamania used that
That's
clip
right.
in every entrance. Like every beginning of Botchamania had that in there. I'm like, I'm on every Botchamania. Look at me.
And there's 285 of them right now.
Is that 285?
Oh, there's a shit ton.
Nice. But we just found it interesting that they wanted the two girls who don't wrestle on the show to actually wrestle today. Instead of say like me and Kong again or anybody
at least
else.
like a mixed, like not mixed, but at least a tag match of the situation, right?
Right. But that's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, you got
we were
paid?
there.
Did you make money?
I did get paid.
That's all that
I
matters.
did cash that check. I did.
But yeah, which brings us to the inevitability. Oh, Colin didn't catch you at all, girl.
Oh, she was not there.
He's not.
She was not there. Every time we practiced it, she was there.
Of course.
So was she supposed to catch you?
Shit.
Because you like, it looks like when you fall, you like bounce off her.
A little, maybe even, I don't
Like,
remember, honestly.
She didn't catch you by any stretch.
She was not there.
Yeah.
It looked like she thought about it, but didn't really commit to the situation. And the next thing you know, you're down on the ground with your head against the rail, and she just
I
kind of
was
looks
just
at you,
I'm gonna get
I
hurt.
have
and
to
then
stay down.
stomps you, I believe.
I have to stay down, obviously.
Oh, have to? How could you get the fuck up?
I did fall all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, but I know how to take bumps, so
Hey.
I was fine. And once I realized, I'm not paralyzed or I'm not hurt or anything, I'm gonna obviously stay down now.
Yeah.
So she probably came over and gave me a stomp or two,
Yeah.
but she probably realized, she's like, oh shit, I didn't catch her. I'm gonna go ahead and just put one good stomp in there, just so I can get a little, in there, and then we're gonna go on with the rest of this match. Hopefully it ends soon.
And then I'm gonna take this extension and stuck it in my boobies. I'm gonna stop Josie once, and I'm gonna take Charmel's hair extension and stuck it to my
so
boobies.
weird.
And then I'm gonna play a Kong. And then one of my comments was, "What the fuck happened in the last minute of this match?" Was it because there was that deal that she got hurt, she took the big bump, and then there's the hair titty, and then there's the beat on her chest. What the fuck is going on here?
What was the hair titty? What was that?
She had Charmel's weave,
Okay.
and then shoved it down her cleat like Kong.
So she kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then started doing this number at her.
Well, you don't
As
take woman's weave.
No, you don't.
Well, that's what-
and
I was
also
waiting for-
learned at the Last Queens, you can't get a black lady's weave wet.
Oh, you don't, unless
I did not
it
know
is that
that.
kind of hair.
I did not know.
Yes. Not all hair
I
is supposed to
suggested
get
a
wet.
thing and all four, wait a minute now. You can't do that.
We need to, no.
I gotta start learning about weaves and hang out with more
Same.
girls.
Same. Do not ever.
Never
Do
suggest.
not ever suggest a black woman get her hair wet.
Sorry.
Okay. We don't do that. We don't do that. But yes.
We as a people do not.
Yes. Because I'm sure that was a spot that they thought, oh, black women, you don't take it.
But there's no payoff to it. I thought Charmel would get up and there would be some sort of cat fight, but they're like, no, I'm just gonna stare at you, give me my hair back.
Yeah, give it back.
Right.
We're gonna do this.
Carmel makes enough money that
Yeah.
she took the part of her weave. I feel like she has another one at home.
Right.
Well, I think
Couple
it just
of
kind
them
of
at
grows
home.
in automatically.
Right.
I got that kind of weave where it's like a newt. If you
It
get rid of
was
his tail, it grows his tail back.
Yeah. My husband's Booker T. We got cash. We're
Yeah.
good. You want to keep that? Go ahead. Keep it.
Put that in
Is
your
he really
boobies.
your husband?
Yes. They are married in real life.
Yeah. That hair extension costs about as much as, Doug Williams' payoff for the
Yeah,
evening. From
I'm
to be on this
sure.
pay-per-view.
I'm sure that her and Booker have a weave sponsor. You can't tell me all those
I
shreds
bet.
are his.
That's the life right there.
Right?
A weave sponsor. I know she had an evening gown dress sponsor.
Ooh.
So I know that.
So she got
had
that
all-
gear.
I remember she had always had those awesome
Yes.
gowns on. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was. It was.
Hey.
It happened, and
It's a thing. It's on Botchamania
And
now.
it was literally named the worst wrestling match ever.
Brian Alvarez, who gave it -5
It
stars.
was so crazy, and they were mad that they kept getting all these interview requests for people who want to interview them. Like, how do you feel knowing that you just had a match that's considered the worst wrestling match of all time? And I was like, that is not possible. That is not possible, because I have watched some terrible wrestling. That was not that.
That's not the worst.
I have seen worse. I really have.
By trained professional wrestlers.
But yeah, the rope running, and then of course that pin.
Oh, dude!
Can we
right?
talk about that?
Right back to that porn where she straddles her face.
Oh
and,
my god, that was so gross.
It
Was it
was.
really slow?
Oh,
yeah.
Very,
Like a wave over and back.
like the way she got in the ring was just the reversal for a face sitting.
And she was and the thing is Charmel was down there for a long time, so I was like, obviously she's got kicked out. Like, oh, is that the finish? And then I'm like, well, it's just the smell or something
Yeah,
like that?
I
It
was
just
thinking,
kept her incapacitated.
She's
Is
gone.
that the only?
This can't be.
Is that what we're talking about? And
She just passed out.
And if you're talking about them possibly singing "Stop in the Name of Love," maybe they're not putting that out of the realm of possibility that she's such a hoe that it smells so bad down there that Charmel is just submitting to the smell.
So it makes me believe that the $1 million she won on Survivor, she just took to get stripper lessons. Got in the ring, rode this girl's face like a champ.
There was a pro wrestling school and there was pole dancing a fitness.
She had the wrong
classes.
address, and she looked, and there was a ring on the left, and she's nope. The address says this one.
There's a girl on this one, and I am a girl, so
Yeah.
I need to go in here.
And
So
then now she's a stripper.
Those are terrible. Let me just say this. Jenna, awesome person.
You did a good job.
No, not at all. For her, what is she? Wait a second. What is she gonna do for me?
Well, she might be running this really nice strip club you could manage.
Oh yeah, because I don't manage enough things.
No.
That's great. I have enough things to manage. No, good, awesome person. I wish that she had wanted to wrestle. Because she would have been somebody I would have invested time in. Mm-hmm. Seriously, I mean, she has a huge following on the internet. Mm-hmm. She won Survivor. She went back for the Survivor reunion and won again. She's all about animal rights. She does a lot of really good charity work. She's a good person. I loved having her in the locker room.
Yeah.
I will tell you just one little thing about that little time in TNA history. Michael Jackson died, and we were all there. Shooting TV. We were all in the locker room, and we were all just kind of do our thing in the locker room, and all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, shit, Michael Jackson died." I'm like, "Oh, no, you got that wrong. Farrah Fawcett died today," because she had died overnight. But literally, yes, it was coming through the wire that Michael Jackson had died, and we were like, "Oh my god, and we were all feeling it.
They canceled TV.
Oh my god, we have to all go home or something. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
And then we all broke down and sang "Heal the World" together. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. It was. I was like, "You guys, I'm gonna go outside and smoke a cigarette." Oh, back when I smoked. But it was a cool time in women's wrestling history, and there were so many segments that had women in them, and we just felt privileged that they were including us so much.
Yeah, because there's 2 segments on the pay-per-view that include women, which
three.
There's three. Excuse me.
There was the first match. There was Daphne's spot, and then there was us.
Oh, and then there's here in a minute. There's a thing with Slick Wagner, Slick Wagner Brown, Slick Johnson again.
Ooh, I was like, no, he was not there.
He was not there. He doesn't need to be anywhere. He's been fucking home.
He needs to not be on.
Yeah, there's a thing with Slick Johnson and one of the beautiful people here in a minute.
See, so I mean, they used the women so much at that time because at the time we were pulling in ratings and they couldn't deny it. So we were all riding high on that, Yeah,
because like a WWE pay-per-view, it's solely just the girls match, and then that's it. And then you don't see girls the rest of the night, basically. But like TNA really got behind this ideal of it. You know what I'm saying? Sure, they had their different characters and stuff like that, but when Angelina got in the ring, it's a good match.
Yeah.
Daphne's got her place, and then even the female announcer, Lauren
had everybody was doing something, and it was awesome, and we all supported each other. We all liked each other. We even sit back and man, this is so awesome. Look at us. Look at all this talent. We are so fortunate because WWE would never do something this.
There was
and we were all girls who wanted to be in WWE, at some point, obviously. So it was just so cool that we could take that moment to recognize how special this moment was, even if you were told to do something stupid or racist or say it's ghetto time or put your butt in the camera. We were just all trying to stay on TV at that point because the men were upset that we were getting so much, and we were getting the ratings. We were the ones getting the ratings.
Well, around this time too is when the ladies wrestling on TNA was almost far superior to the guys wrestling, even the talent wise.
It was,
and it was definitely something that you could tell later on. WWE went and changed the way they did the divas and all that stuff. You could tell it was based on this because you had people like Gail Kim going out there and killing, having amazing matches. The way that the Big Shot, they changed their whole format of what a female wrestler was just because of how good TNA was doing at the time.
And also to the Ronda Rousey, the idea of a female athlete being very important, women's soccer team, that all of those things were great strides, and now we find ourselves in that place that TNA was in 2009. But that's the other thing about this Sharmell and Jenna match. It's frustrating, is this type of match would have been booked on a WWE pay-per-view as a WWE women's title match. They would have done something like this, and with TNA being a competitor to WWE, it's that sense we're not like them, we're different, we're better than them, and we have our niche, but then you're doing something that they would have done. I think that's part of the bigger repulsion to this happening, because that's something that they would have done.
Well, I think you got to remember also that TNA was also struggling with, we want to be better than WWE, but we need to compete with WWE. What would WWE do? Well, WWE would do this. This is what they would do. And so they were always struggling because there was always so many heads, so many chefs in the kitchen, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, but we have a strong women's division, we have such an array of athletes, but we got these hot chicks, catfight, wrestling,
buttholes.
There is always they were so torn on what they wanted to do. They never half time they didn't know what they wanted to do. So a lot of angles were half booked, and a lot of things were set up that were never finished. Things like that. They would start a storyline and then cut it short and start something else. It was just a really confusing time. But 2009 was a great year for women's wrestling because that was the year you saw women actually kicking so much ass. Just killing it in the ring. If you gave them 10 minutes, they were taking every single second and not going short and delivering. So it was really an awesome time. So what are you going to say? No, don't put those girls in the ring. But what if they deliver? What if something cool comes out of it? Well, we got the entrance for Botchmania. Is what we got. That's what we got.
And hey, that's more than some got, all right?
You know what? And that's more than some got. Exactly. So I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm excited to see Charmel in a couple months because I can't wait to talk to her about it and be like, I haven't seen you since, girl, because you kind of dropped off the face there. But
kind of like I dropped off Awesome Kong's head, you dropped off the face there.
Like I dropped off the top of that ring. Yes.
Yes. But anything more we have to say about this part of the show?
No.
I think we had
We talked about it longer than it occurred.
Yes, absolutely, we did. There's a lot of aspects to it we had to discuss here.
Dang.
There's if it's considered by most as being the worst of all time, I think we gave it its due.
Yeah, disagree that it was the worst of all time. Disagree. Suck it, Brian.
If there hadn't been matches like that, there would be no Sasha Banks.
Damn right.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Put that out there.
Okay.
Put that on your stupid little podcast, big guy.
Put that on your podcast. Matches like that have to happen so that better matches can happen.
Yeah, like I said, this is something that WWE would have done during the Diva Search.
That's what I want done.
And now look at where they're at right now. There has to be a start.
You're welcome. I did this. I need to stop drinking.
But moving right along, let's get into Kevin Nash's interview for his upcoming match. Some notable points that I like about Kevin Nash, talking about Mick coming in with his mullet, riling these guys up, and talk about how he wants to win this Legends title just so he could, charge an extra $3,000 for pictures and autographs.
Good for him. I remember that now.
I feel like that's a really low number, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a low number.
You're already
an extra
an extra
$3,000 on top of what he already has.
Gotcha. So I think he charges 10 for a birthday party.
So 13 is what he now wants for a birthday
13 now
party.
for the birthday party.
Yeah, so there you go.
When Scott Steiner opened that Denny's, he had to pay $13,000 for old Kevin Nash. Now, did you remember this man from the Magic Mike movies?
Nash?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only seen one Magic Mike. That was the first one. Yes, but I do remember him because I was like, that is a hot old dude.
Yeah.
Or he looked, he's great.
Was he Tarzan in that one? Was that?
Oh, do not tell him that to his
He's a huge guy too, though.
He's
a giant.
He is massive.
He does not need that encouragement.
His head is already
I'm
so
sure
large.
he gets it from a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
Hey, good people.
Oh, he loves wrestling him. That's his favorite thing. I love when he was like, hey, I'm wrestling Kevin Nash tonight. And I go,
You've wrestled Kevin Nash?
Yes, wrestled Kevin Nash.
Yeah. And I go,
I'm actually his last match as of right now.
Wow.
And he follows me on Instagram and we follow each other on Instagram. From
He's
time to time.
really famous and stuff. He's been around forever.
He's so famous. How could a schlep like you, Jake?
I don't mean that way, but he's really big. It'd be like, I'm going to do improv with somebody that's famous.
With the Kevin Nash.
Yeah, or Kevin Hart's going to hang out with me today because we're funny friends.
Because he genuinely acts. He's in a lot of real movies.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Punisher too.
Which one?
Yeah, The Punisher.
He was in the first one.
Yeah.
And he was Super Shredder.
He was Super Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yes.
He was the Russian in Punisher. He beats the fuck out of Ben Foster from Flash Forward from Disney. Not a big thing. I celebrate his entire collection.
His entire IMDb page.
He's got some admirers. He's got some admirers in the ring.
Magic Mike.
Have you seen those?
His name was Tarzan.
Not
Not a big
I've
deal.
only seen one.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum, number one.
But yeah.
Is that booze? I'll take some of that.
Got some mini mimosas in the fridge if you want.
But yeah, Kevin Nash, cool guy.
That's crazy.
Cool guy.
How tall is he? How tall would you say
Oh,
he
he's
is?
super tall.
Like 7?
7'3".
Shut up!
So I mean, he's close to 7 foot.
Like
He
his
is.
legs that look like trees compared
And-
to
That's
that other
some
guy.
big leather pants
Yeah.
right there.
And hot.
big
I was
leather
like,
pants.
those look like garbage bags. It's gotta be super hot.
And this is 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
7'3".
Still looks similar.
Yeah. I think he looks better now, but like when I see him walk, every time I see him wrestle now or even back in 2009, I was just so fearful of his knees because he's got such bad knees that I'm just like, please, Kevin, don't hurt yourself. Like every time
And
I see
that's
him.
real. So the knee
Okay, that
thing was
quad.
real.
That's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
That's not what I was
Okay.
scared of.
Hey.
No kidding.
Seven
sure-
foot wing. What's this rack smell like? Talking about Kevin Nash is far better than the match that Kevin Nash is about to have.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like, you know, Kevin Nash, like he's only got a couple of moves. He was able to maximize his height and his size and his personality, but he's in there with AJ Styles, still one of the best wrestlers in the world today. They've got to, like, and he can do all kinds of stuff, but Kevin is not the person to do that with. Because, like I said, just Kevin walking around the ring, I'm fearful for a quad being blown out. So, like, AJ's got to do all his stuff, but they still got to tell a story. And it was almost like there was a point where it's like it looked like AJ was like the heel and putting heat,
Just beating
like
up this old man.
beating up this old man, and we're kind of getting behind Kevin Nash. But then, like, the finish just kind of, I don't know what it was supposed to be. I feel like it was like.
I just don't think it was smooth. I mean, that was probably the finish. Just
Yeah,
it
or
wasn't
the camera
smooth.
angle was wrong. Like, because the idea, I think that the psychology behind the finish was that AJ's going to go for a springboard, but Kevin's got the referee in the way. AJ, of course, being the good guy, is not going to hit the referee, and so that makes him stop for a second. Then Nash pushes the referee into AJ, and AJ, to avoid a collision with the referee, springboards over
Right.
top
I
of him,
remember that.
which, with the second that he lands, is the choke slam. I believe and there's a lot of moving pieces there, but for whatever reason, the camera angle, I think I want to blame it on the camera angle because that's a pretty unique story to get to a finish.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like the camera angle just did not do it justice.
Yeah, it
just-
wasn't. And I think watching the ref's expressions and the way he's, like, taking in the moment is he's just like deadpan face, just I think he was late getting in place for Kevin to push him, and so when Kevin does push him, it's more like, oh fuck, I'm behind, and he just starts running and going towards AJ before he's even pushed.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a precarious position in the sense that you can't be running full speed into a rope while AJ is on top of it needing to spring, because then he could fall onto the floor.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that could have gone bad, and I feel like they played it a little safe, and it didn't come off as well as they probably would have hoped it to be. I feel like that's one of those things where, like, if you're just a half a second off, it doesn't look quite as good. So
Well, I thought his hair flip at the end failed. He didn't get a good full shakeout. It was just like stuck to his head.
well,
Real
now,
important thing to notice.
well
so.
now he's shaved it all off. He's got kind of like a little
really?
like kind of flat top type thing,
Okay.
distinguishly
In case
gray.
you're curious.
In case
I
you're
just wondered.
curious.
Wait, you guys might want to know more than I do.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move right along before Zeke gets back on Kevin Nash's IMDb page.
Y'all want to know what he did like the mid '90s era? Is that what you're saying?
But anyways, Madison and Slick Johnson caught.
They be fucking.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's the sign is Slick having his shirt off backstage.
Right.
The sign that I was having sex. I guess that's the cue. I guess we're all.
Were they doing stuff with Slick Johnson at the time? Was like this part of an angle, or was this
They
just
were
the
always-
finish of, hey, don't go back and look at the footage where it was a controversial finish. I'll fuck you if you don't.
Well, even though stepping back to that, it was odd because like Tara won the belt right before the pay-per-view. Angelina gets it back. So it's just it's all weird. Like, don't you want to have the title change on the pay-per-view, but you do it before, and then you do this big angle. Like, it seems like that type of a title switch and that kind of like a weird twist to it would have been better for a TV match to set up for a pay-per-view match. But like, what do I know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least this finish was performed accurately, which is more than what I can say for this next match.
This next one, you mean like the rest of them?
But most notably, though, Beer Money versus Booker T and Scott Steiner were like, this match is, just as good as you would expect it to. But this finish, I'm befuddled by. Completely and utterly.
This one was Beer Money won this one, right?
No.
Because it was a situation.
The Steiner guy, who I thought was Hulk Hogan before he took the chain metal thing off,
Common
looks
mistake.
so much like him.
Yeah.
But yes, they won. That's right, because he pinned down that guy. Oh God. Please ignore me.
No, this is your description of that is exactly what we want for this podcast.
There was so much back and forth of lots of slapping. The forearm slap is huge. Like they do that. I noticed that a lot.
People like to make sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the sounds are good.
They love to make
So I know
sounds.
that's why they. But I was just like, wow, they do that a lot.
They do that a lot. I call them legs. I call them leg slappers. That's what I call them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I remember.
Okay. But yeah,
this is the beer spit that misfired into Earl Hebner's face.
Well, it didn't even get to Earl.
Oh, okay.
That was the weird thing. It got into Steiner's face. But then Steiner stumbled into Earl when all of a sudden Earl's like, "Oh, I'm blind too."
Yeah.
And started taking his shirt up and showing off his 6-pack, and then rolling to the outside.
And then he got then wiped that off, went for the pin, and then Booker T pulled him out. And then he's still selling the eyes for some reason, but Booker T pulls him out in the middle of the pin.
But starts yelling at James Storm, blaming him for being blinded when he wasn't even anywhere near being blinded.
Then there's the finish that's there for a few seconds before Hebner gets back in the ring, and the big problem with it was
James Storm is right next to Earl Hebner, and he can come in and break the pin up, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
which Metzler tore apart. I was reading in the Wikipedia.
Oh no, I totally agree, and rightfully so. I don't know if this was all a chain reaction of Earl Hebner not being in place for being spit in the face with beer, or there was supposed to be a situation where Earl was supposed to be blinded by Steiner by his hand hitting him in the eye or something like that, and that didn't occur properly because he had his back turned. So there was almost a mini collision between Steiner and the referee, and I was thinking, did he hit him with the because I had to watch back what blinded Earl, and there was really nothing other than maybe Steiner might have hit him in the eye with his thumb, but that was so nonchalant. It wasn't on camera. You don't know.
You'd be creating a story that wasn't even there.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I was trying to do is give him the benefit of the doubt because I happen to like Beer Money. And
Beer Money was my favorite tag team.
And
they still are one of the best. I love all of them.
But but this finish just all got messed up because he could clearly have broken up the pin.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if this was all a chain of events of things happening. It's one of those things where you could have just broken it up.
Start over.
Shit can me, hit the finish on him, and we'll get here. But the thing is, though, it's a pay-per-view. You don't want to do that. Like a house show, you could do that, but it's one of those things you just don't know what to do, and it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So, but all kinds of messed up. So.
I did notice at the end that Steiner had a mint in his mouth as he was talking to or mint or gum, because it was hanging out right on the side of his mouth when he was talking.
I love
That's all I got.
He does what he wants.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was like, where'd you get that? Was that in your pants?
I found this on the way back, and I picked it up off the ground.
Maybe.
I stopped by the men's station.
We don't question him.
Double your pleasure, double your fun.
I still love his one promo that he did on Samoa Joe for Sacrifice.
The math promo?
The math promo is still my favorite promo.
Oh, man.
There's that video on YouTube where somebody does the
Does the
math
actual
as
equations.
he's doing his promo. It's so fantastic.
Look up Scott Steiner math promo,
Okay.
and it's basically...
It's so great.
It's a 3-way match. This weekend is a 3-way match. Everybody has a 33.3% chance of winning. Now, I am not a normal man.
He's not a normal man.
And Samoa Joe, you are a loser. So that gives me a 66.6 chance of winning over Samoa Joe or over whoever. And it's just that all over. Now, if you take that 66.6 chance and just move it around.
If it's on
nuts.
YouTube, you can play it. I think we're allowed. So.
Are we allowed to play it? Because I will turn it up. Hold on. I'm going to start it over.
If it's on YouTube.
And you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix. Your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the 3-way at Sacrifice, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me and he's not even going to try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 30-30 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning at sacrifice. But then you take my 75% chance of winning if we used to go one-on-one and then add 66 and 2/3 chance. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at sacrifice. See, Nick Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at sacrifice.
That's the best thing ever.
That is so good.
Best thing ever.
I like to think he did this off the top of his head, and that the math is 100% correct.
Well, then that makes you feel really good about that Shoney's. He's now the manager.
Right? He does all the Shoney's.
He owns it.
He
He
owns
owns
the
it.
manager.
Excuse me, not in my manager. He owns it.
owns
So
it.
that means he's going to be very good at the bookkeeping.
Do you know which
part
one?
of it. Somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah,
I love me some Shoney's. Okay, breakfast buffet all day. Let's do that.
Let's go.
They got catfish? I'm there.
Oh, I'm sure you can ask him.
No, they got it.
You want catfish? I got catfish.
I want catfish. I want those French toast sticks.
I went outside and caught this catfish with my bare hand in a creek.
But yes, Scott Steiner, God bless him. And then, of course, the man he was getting promo on was Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe now cuts an interview talking about how his advisor will be unveiled tonight. Obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, it was already unveiled in the video package.
Yeah.
So very anticlimactic when he finally does walk out and do nothing, which is Taz, the human suplex machine from ECW, does absolutely nothing and just walks out at the end of the match when Samoa Joe was wrestling Sting. So very very odd how just Sting was in the middle, had his finishing maneuver on Samoa Joe, sees Taz walk out in a suit. I will now let that go. We'll start the match again, and then I'll just lose. Like, it's just very odd.
I didn't think they were matched up really well. Because Samoa's kind of he's a shorter, rounder dude.
Fat, just say it.
And Sting is, like, I remember Sting from a kid, like when I was a kid, he was scary. And, like, you were afraid of him. I mean, this is me as, like, 10, 11 years old watching cartoons and trying to figure out what's going on. And so I'm like, how could that guy beat him? I was surprised by that.
Well, Samoa Joe, like, he does a lot of kicks and suplexes and stuff like that, but Sting is much older, and he's not going to take a T-bone suplex on his neck.
He's also mysterious.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
the
mysterious.
makeup is crazy. I didn't.
Scorpions very
aren't
Crow.
Crow.
Yeah, because basically
He's
still doing the face paint that he was doing from 1997, 96, and that area because he did this whole, because he had the very colorful face paint, and then he went on this very year-long feud where he'd be in the rafters looking out over the NWO, and then he'd make his return dressed in basically that crow makeup.
Okay.
So like this is this is like 09, so we're talking about 13.
Then you take out the 25% chance you would have.
Scott Steiner, do the math on this, okay?
If Scott Steiner's listening, could you send in the math about how many years apart this was?
My only, really, I never watched WCW. That wasn't my thing. I started watching WWE or WWF again. I mean, I watched it as a kid, obviously, but then I watched it again as an adult, right as the invasion angle was happening with WCW and WWF. So I was super into it, and I worked at a Jillian's. I don't know if anybody remembers what Jillian's is. Jillian's, the bowling alley. It's
We're that old.
Jillian's was the shit.
David Buster for you noobs.
Yeah, David Busters don't know nothing about Jillian's. Okay, Jillian's was the shit. Anyway, I worked the one at the Mall of America. And some of the merch, like, for all the tickets from the arcade games, there was all this WCW merchandise. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy looking like the Crow? Like, I didn't watch WCW. I didn't know.
Gotcha.
So when I got to work with Sting at the same time, he was, we were there together. I didn't really know much about him. Like, I realized he was a big deal. I know I always shook his hand, whatever. But I didn't really know that much about him, and I didn't have time to take a lot of time to do any research either, because I was trying to fight for my own survival at that time. So one day we were sitting there behind, backstage, blah blah blah, catering, blah blah. I accidentally stood up and knocked all his food out of his hands, and it literally went everywhere. Like it was one of the most embarrassing things that's ever happened to me. And as you all know, is you cannot embarrass me because I'm a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
You can't embarrass me. I was embarrassed at that moment. And I was like, oh my God.
I'm done.
What were you eating? I will get you a new plate. I will make it right. And he's like, have a seat. I will get my own food. I'm like, I will get it for you because I don't need heat back here for knocking Sting's food out of his hand. Just tell me. I'll piece it back together. I'm like, I'm picking up food off the ground. I'm like, okay,
I'm going to sew these 2 chicken breasts together for you.
He had chicken. He had coleslaw. I think there's something over here. I think there's a salad over here. Okay, just tell me what dressing you want and I will remake your plate. And he was like, just calm down. Just sit down. I'm like,
yes, sir.
Because that's another thing you probably don't realize too, that pro wrestling is a lot like high school, in the sense that she knocked over the plate of the popular kid, or the guy who's the main event guy, and that could be the end of her career right there.
over.
That's what's so weird about pro wrestling. That he's, I don't really like that girl.
You know that scene where you can't sit with us in the lunchroom with Mean Girls?
And I didn't say that about it, so believe me.
But then add
entertainment.
But then also
industry.
add your livelihood to that.
Right.
Oh.
Oh,
Now you can't pay rent.
You don't get to eat this week.
Yeah. And that's really what it was. It was literally like that. So that happened. That happened. And then they were doing this dedication to Sting at the time. They were like doing a thank you Sting kind of thing. Like, hey guys, we're going to be doing, if you just want to do like a little promo, just tell the camera what he means to you, what he's meant to your wrestling your wrestling career. And I was just like,
I didn't watch WCW.
I didn't watch WCW. I'm sorry.
All I know about Sting is I knocked his food out of his hand.
All I know is he won't work for Vince, and he's not here. Okay, he points a baseball bat at people sometimes. Okay, but he's a really nice Christian man. I do know that.
He is nice. We've done a couple here recently. Done a couple shows with him.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Sting, when people like freaked out when he went to WWE like a year or two ago. People were like, oh my God, Sting's on WWE. And people were like excited. Go, do you guys not remember how bad he was in TNA? Like, he wasn't good. Like, I feel like I can say that because he's made way more money than me in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what we think.
He
about
makes
him.
more money in like one show that I've made in the last 10 years of wrestling.
Yeah, so like, and the money that he was making to do these type of matches all the time, like he forgot his own spots half the time. He was not. Yeah, like he. And he was always a guy that kind of needed somebody good to work with and stuff like that. And you'd see him work with Savage or Flair, or
he was never the best.
Yeah, he was always a star.
He was just around forever.
He needed a star maker. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely a star, but he needed somebody as a star maker to make him look good. So like that's always the thing about him and his rep. But yeah, like. That's when people just a couple years ago, I can't believe Sting, maybe we'll get to see him wrestle. I'm like, no, I don't want to see him wrestle. I just want to see him come out, do his entrance, because that's what he's good at right now. He's good at cutting a promo. He's good at making a run-in and doing a couple things. That's kind of what they used him for, but they had him wrestle a couple times, and he just like almost killed himself a couple of times. So like,
we never felt bad wrestling before him. I was like, oh, no, because I know that
Sting's about to wrestle. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. Oh, no. My match was not bad. My match was not bad. You want to see bad? It's about to come up right now. Here we go.
And that's kind of what we have here. And that's what's weird about this. Like, they could have... And I remember looking at the listings of this pay-per-view and seeing some of the guys that, obviously, like a Kevin Nash, not as mobile as he used to be just because of all the injuries. Like, and the way it works out, like, I know they've done this match several times before, but it probably had been a little bit since they'd done it. I don't know why you don't flip it to Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles and then Kevin Nash versus Sting.
Yeah.
You're going to probably get a definitely a better match out of the Samoa Joe AJ Styles one, and then also too you got the Sting. But also too there is the thing of the title, like obviously Kevin Nash has to get the belt, so I guess there is that, but at the same time too, like you're going to get a better match on the pay-per-view if you do it that way. But it is to build to what we're building eventually is all the belts on the main event Mafia, which, comes up here next. But we do have a couple more things to talk about. But go ahead, Zane.
I was going to say we had the finish of the Sting and Samoa Joe match.
Please.
Which was, he lets the deal go, Taz comes out, who the fuck ever, whatever. Then Joe takes him up for his normal finisher, the Muscle Buster.
Yes.
which is the part where he kind of had him upside down.
Yes.
But then he lost complete control of him and was... I love Samoa Joe. Definitely not at his best physique at this time. Not in the best shape. Seemed to be very blown up on top of Sting being blown up.
But you blame him for not caring.
No.
Because they were doing such weird stuff this time.
So couldn't even get him up, and he tries twice. Now this is what blows my mind. Eventually, it's he does Taz's finish, and also his, is the rear naked choke with the legs and things, and taps him out.
Oh yeah, he tapped out.
Yes. Now, do you think the Muscle Buster was the finish? Was the finish, or would that have led to eventually the tap out? Because I don't see how Samoa Joe could just, obviously talking to him, go, "Hey, just go ahead and tap out," to fucking Sting.
I feel like maybe the Muscle Buster was supposed to happen, and
that's a falsie, and then
so he looks super strong with his new advisor, Taz.
Okay.
But at the same time, too, I don't think Sting was ever going to take that bump.
Yeah,
at all. That's what I think.
There's a reason that this didn't happen. Maybe it wasn't because Samoa Joe was blown. It was that Sting was like, "Nah, dog."
Who knows? We've seen stars before just go, "Oh, I forgot. But I'm not. I was supposed to take that move."
You mean last Saturday?
Yeah, it happens. But
Ooh.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Drea?
Well, the tap out thing. I didn't think anybody ever tapped out to make it stop. Because I watched all these matches, and which was pure agony, every single one of them. And I'm like, come on, somebody tap out. Come on, let this be done. And because they always get up, the ref only gets to 2. They always pull their shoulder up, because I guess there's a certain amount of time that, I'm talking really dumb because I don't know the insides of it like you guys do. But I guess there's a certain amount of time that the match actually has to go on, or whoever you want it to go on 3-4 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
But I didn't know. I didn't think you tap out to say stop at all. I've never seen anybody do that.
Because all you've seen is raise the arm. Raise the arm.
Raise the arm. Yeah. So
which you see in the next match.
Yes.
So that was all.
But that was that. Yeah, it was very odd and very weird. And Chaz just obviously did not care to even be there. Could not be bothered. Which hey, don't blame him. He just came from working for one of the best promotions in the world, and now he's here. It's like, well, I guess this is what I do now.
And then goes on to doing commentary soon after this.
Yeah. Anyways, before we get there, we got the Bobby Lashley announcement. He's coming to TNA. They're hyping him up for that. Which
B Lash.
Old B Lash.
Big guy, little ears.
Little voice.
Tiny little ears. Tiny little elf ears.
Tiny little white voice.
Oof.
Good guy though.
Love him.
Love old B Lash.
Oh yeah.
Well, I only got to see part of that before my DVD player stopped.
Your DVD player's like, I'm fucking tired of this.
Your DVD player tapped out.
Yeah. I'm not raising my fucking
there
hand.
You go. But I thought he was a real good looking guy.
Yeah.
Said he had been in wrestling, but his career ended abruptly.
Because he wanted to do MMA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he went and did?
Went and did MMA for a while,
okay, I didn't. And that's real fighting. Or, this is real fighting. That's painful. Or more
unnecessary punches to the face.
Yeah.
Punch to the brainstem, stuff like that.
Good. Okay, so I wondered what he'd done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff guys with little ears do.
Yep, little ear stuff.
Well, because he's not going to get him roughed up or get cauliflower.
That's right, I was about to say.
So he's at an advantage.
Yeah.
He's at an advantage. So that's, you may make fun of it.
Real hard to throw off equilibrium if you can't punch somebody in the ear proper.
Boom. Right there. But before the main event happens, we have the Mick Foley promo doing a fantastic interview, as only Mick Foley can do. Loved it. You said your DVD player crashed out.
Yes!
That's a shame because
I'm so mad.
You got to see what Mick Foley, you missed out on what Mick Foley does best in telling a story. What was it?
And he's Mankind, right?
Yes.
Okay,
so you're aware of who he is.
I know who, you call him Mick Foley or Nick?
Mick Foley is his real name.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Because he can't use Mankind because that's owned by WWE, but he can use his real name, Mick Foley.
But so he's not
Jack.
So he's not Mankind in this
In this,
video I
no.
watched.
He's just Mick Foley.
Just like Foley.
But he was
That's what I
Mankind when
remember.
Mankind was a thing.
Yeah, his hair.
You may have seen him at the Comedy Zone multiple times. He does stand up and.
Really more like storytelling.
Well, yeah.
Gotcha.
But
Which
yeah.
shits on Al Snow all the time. It's
Oh, he
hilarious.
loves it. It's so
It's
awesome.
great.
Being as somebody who's trained by Al Snow, so sitting there in the audience, the first time I've been to a stand-up, and I'm sitting there literally in the second row, so excited. I'm wasted, by the way. I had dinner at one of my favorite restaurants, Ramsey's, on Bardstown Road in Louisville. We had drinks. We ate brownies. We smoked a bowl. It was great. Oh, we were ready for this show. And then he came out. He gave the audience Girl Scout cookies, which I took pictures of. I'm like, he gave me some shortbread cookies.
During the show.
You know, he gave me a shout out like, Sojo, there she is. And then he proceeded to shit on Al Snow so hard.
Yep.
And I was like, Al is like my teacher right now. Oh my God, does Al know that you were talking about him being a homosexual? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Love my queens. But I'm pretty sure Al Snow does not identify as homosexual. Ask his wife.
Yeah.
Or his fiance.
Or don't. Maybe might find something.
I mean his ex-wife or his new fiance.
I was about to say, do we ask both?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Leave her alone. She's
Leave
a
her
great
out of
person.
this.
Leave them all out of this.
But yes, but talking is most certainly a strong suit, and just the idea of saying that Kurt is banged up right now, which, like, duh, yeah, he looks like shit right now.
Yeah.
And the idea that, you know, he can't fall under an unforeseen circumstance in the next 6 weeks before he has this surgery or whatever. He can't fall on unforeseen circumstances. And Mick Foley's like, I'm that unforeseen circumstance. And just tells this great story and with this great intensity and does a fantastic job and does what he does best. In which this match with Kurt Angle, it's a main event. And I like how Mick Foley's promo earlier in the night, he basically said to all those other guys, like, hey, don't leave it up to me to save TNA, you know, from, you know, the takeover of the main event Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, really, it was like saying, hey, don't leave it on me to save this show from being bad. Don't leave it on me, because, like, Mick Foley has seen a lot of ice cream seasons at this moment in time.
Yep.
And as I've talked to him just recently, and when they said what his weight was, it was about 280.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I talked to him recently. He's lost a ton of weight. I think he's around 200 pounds right now.
Oh, jeez.
He's lost almost 100 pounds. He's trying to, or at least trying to get down there. He's lost 80 for sure. Like, he's been working very hard, and he talked about, like, how much better mobility he has. And right here, he's, like, much older, a lot of bumps on him. And literally, like, 2.5 years after this match happened, I saw him at a convention, and he was supposed to cut promos with fans, and he couldn't stand between the promos of each fan, like, because each fan would like, hey, can you do this and talk this, and he would have to sit down between each promo and stand back because his knees were hurting him that bad. And the fact that he's still wrestling in a main event match against Kurt Angle, who is, you know, one of the best athletes in the world. Maybe not this time,
No.
but
But hey, look.
But as we've learned also too about Kurt Angle, though, he just made an announcement, and it was released in Sports Illustrated this week. He said at one point in time he was taking 65 Vicodin a day.
Okay,
Whoosh.
I would just say he was probably sprinkling a little Aleve on top of that. Okay, just saying.
Just it's not
Just
all.
to even it out.
Yeah.
There's a little some Aleve in there. So
There was constant, like, neck break. It said 2, right?
Well, he had the one in the Olympics, and
Yeah.
then I think he's had a surgery, and then he's had another surgery and stuff like that. So,
Okay, I knew he had multiple surgeries, but I thought he broke it twice also.
yeah, he might have. This might be that time.
Yeah.
They're talking about. They're saying that he had all these issues and stuff like that. So both these men, very rough health for both of them. But luckily, I can report today that both of them are doing great. I just saw both of them in the same weekend not too long ago. Mick has, like I said, lost a ton of weight. His
DDP
mobility.
yoga.
Yeah, DDP yoga.
he looks great actually right now.
Yeah, Mick was even talking because he's a big Santa Claus enthusiast, I guess you would say, and he dresses up as Santa Claus, and he's receiving Santa Claus training. I know that sounds weird,
That's funny.
but his Santa Claus trainer told him that they might have to put padding on him this year. So he's very happy about that.
Yeah.
And then Kurt Angle just wrestled a match recently, and he looks to be like as good a shape as he was in his prime.
Yeah, I saw him wrestle Zack Sabre a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Looked
Like,
fantastic.
I saw him last month, and he wrestled Cody Rhodes, and he looked like immaculate, like just like he was in 2005.
Yeah.
It's like the way I remember him. Well, maybe 2004, 2003 is.
Yeah.
2005 was the beginning of the ladder. That might have been 15 a day by kid.
You know, just new on that prescription.
My goodness. Zane, real quick, have you thought about any Santa Claus training?
You say I'm fat?
No.
Actually, I used to go to the
the
gym, or went to the gym with this real pervy guy that was like, he was a shoot Santa Claus. Like, he grew the full white beard all year round, and had the hair and everything. And we would always talk to him, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I do, like during Christmas season, I just do all these like malls and stuff." And he goes, "But the real money is all the girls that'll charge you to be a dirty Santa at their parties."
What?
And I was, what the fuck?
That is right up your alley,
Right?
friend. That is right
Me
up
and this
your
dancing
alley.
bear Santa over here.
Oh my God. Santa
But yeah,
came to play.
He did. He's like, that's what I make. He's like, I make all of my money doing dirty Santa office parties.
Well,
That's
Do
insane.
you have a business card?
Yes, please. Can I be an elf for a while and just learn from you?
well, hopefully it doesn't turn out as bad as the Kevin Smith movie Vulgar.
No.
Have you ever seen that before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully it doesn't turn out like that for you.
Or,
If it's anything like Tusk, I'm not
I was about to say, I hope it doesn't turn out like
I'm
us.
not watching it. I'm not
Yeah,
watching
if
it.
you're worried about Tusk, then definitely don't
I
watch
am
Vulgar.
worried about Tusk,
Okay.
and I'm not watching it.
Okay. Well, anyways, Mick Foley taps out. The match is what it is. It's solid. The finish comes off, which, thank God, we see a finish work properly. Dying for that.
Another ref involved moment though, where the ref gets bopped around.
Yeah,
A lot of those.
But anyways, Main Event Mafia go off the air. They have all the belts. So, anyways, that's the end of
As they should.
Yeah,
As they should.
And
They
they
should
got
have all the belts.
matching tracksuits.
Yeah.
and matching tracksuits.
Because I can't get my gear done because you all had to have matching tracksuits. But that's cool. You guys look good. Same colors I'm using, by the way.
Yeah, can't ask me to be in your group.
Yeah. Yeah. I just put that in 3 months ago. That's cool if I don't have it. You know, that's cool. You guys got matching tracksuits. That's good.
got some deep seated issues with the Main Event Mafia.
Jolene is a very amazing seamstress. Yes. Yes.
All right. Now that the show's over, let's get some general thoughts. Drea, what were some of the things that stuck out in your mind that you really liked, or some of the things that you really disliked?
Okay, well, I'll say stuff that I liked was seeing women, though they may have been scantily clad and there were butt shots, still seeing them be powerful, even though they were also still attractive to males or females. I mean, you're still like, oh, I want to look like her when I'm at home or whatever. So that was cool to see. I like the openers, like when they come out every time, like I could just watch those and not see people do
Just
stuff in the ring.
entrances.
Yeah, because everybody did them so different, and they're really creative, and it's part of their character. So I thought that was cool. I watched the majority of the DVD with my face, like in a cringe, because like just all the backs. Like because I don't have a great back, and even like I can throw my back out vacuuming. I can't imagine saying I'm gonna jump and flop onto my back. So that just made me feel pain for the athletes. And you can only watch so much slapping and men grabbing each other. Like, do you guys wear cups?
No.
You
Don't. There's so much hand in the crotch area with throwing and flipping and stuff. I was like, they gotta have a cup on. And like you're all up in somebody's face.
Just a bunch of dick grabbing. That's all.
Ah!
And can I just say something about the
Please.
backs, just real quick?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many wrestlers are on their back most of the time.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Let's do this.
That was fun. Go on. I'm sorry.
She's shooting. She's shooting.
That was good.
Let me tell you about these
We
sluts.
we just killed a bottle of whiskey and we're drinking the most.
Oh, baby.
Zane and Josie drinking hour.
Babe, you were worried about doing this.
I'm having a good time. I'm sorry, girl, to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's all though. I just think about the smell and the grease and
The musk.
yeah, because guys, I mean,
All
you
the
got
taints.
dudes, you guys you get really sweaty. You're not just hanging out there. At the end of every match, they were sweaty messes.
Yeah, they're athletes.
Yeah, this
And
is-
probably wearing self-tanner
Yeah,
and
you're
rubbing that all over the
Yeah.
place.
And baby oil.
And farts
vegetable
if you're Caleb
oil.
Connolly.
Yeah. What?
Just farts if you're Caleb.
Just all farts.
Yeah.
Caleb was not at TNA at that time.
Yeah, it's just,
He's barely there now.
I know, he's barely there now. You're right.
He's at home down
You're
the street.
right. You're right. That's true. That's true.
Anyways, anything else we got to say left of the show that's kind of...
Are we all taking turns? Is that what?
Yeah, like...
What do you got? What do you got?
No, I'm not on Zane. You're next. You're next.
Oh, we're doing the circle.
I'm just
Things that stood out. Jessie dying because she's my friend. Because we're friends.
we are friends.
It was really the most part. Like that was what my the build up to this whole thing was. We're gonna watch this with another lady, and they can see Josie do this as her in her career and almost die. That whole match had a lot of really good high points for me. So I'm gonna go with that one. Best part, worst part. Every ref had to be involved in some fuckery at the end of the match. Like the last, there's at least 4 where there's like just ref nonsense. Oh, another awesome one that we didn't bring up earlier that I wrote down was the girls' match. No, wait, it was
My match.
your match. It was your match. It wasn't. I thought the first one. When they start doing the cat fight, they eventually steamroller over Earl Hebner and back.
Well,
We didn't talk about that part,
Look.
but yeah,
It's a great girl spot.
it is. It definitely is.
Great girl
I
spot.
expected them to get like helped up, and then like the accidental tit grab moment.
Oh, I love that.
Get off her!
Oh no! What are you doing touching my boob? You
I'm
can touch-
sorry.
You can touch my
Ah!
Me and ODB used to do that shit all the time, and it
love
got
that.
over every time. I know you got it.
I do. I got a thing.
You
What
got
about what about you, Chelsea? What's your favorite part?
Surviving?
Yeah, living.
Enjoyed being flown there to do it and being paid to do nothing except fall and almost die, which cost exactly the same as wrestling, by the way, just in case anybody was asking.
So you really did almost die?
Well,
Or you
the thing
were
is,
injured?
Well, I wasn't injured.
But a very high possibility
I
she
was-
could have.
She could have been, sure.
Definitely on concussion watch
Oh.
that night,
Oh,
which is a
crap.
thing where somebody took a really bad bump.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go to sleep tonight. Like somebody's in charge of you. Like somebody's gonna stay with you and be like, "Hey, you can't
Look
fall
up.
asleep yet.
Look up.
You can't fall asleep
Don't
yet.
do that.
You can't fall asleep yet," kind of thing. And that's before that whole wellness policy that everybody suddenly cares about concussions all of a sudden. You know, I definitely fell from a very high
Yeah.
up spot to a very low spot.
Yeah.
But I fell safely because I'm a trained wrestler. I'm trained. And if there's anything that I do really well is fall down. I fell down real good.
You
That's what I said.
did.
I had a lot of fun doing it. It was just one of those things where you're like, you know what? I just need to stay on TV. I'm just, so people don't forget about me. And it was kind of like in the middle of, they kept taking me off TV because I wasn't going to do what they asked me to do, which was lose more weight. And I was already too
You're
skinny.
already like
I was already too skinny.
you're already 128.
I
You
was
said a minute ago.
128.
Yeah.
And for a girl, I mean, I'm 5'3" and a half.
How could you
but
lose more?
They wanted me to lose more, and they kept pressuring me to lose more.
Wow.
So that was actually probably one of the last pay-per-views you saw me
Mm-hmm.
on. I did one more when I came back to do like a one-night only thing.
Yeah.
But because I love wrestling, and before I even got to TNA, I had already been wrestling for 5 years. So the pressure to be something that I'm not, which is white. I'm not white. I'm black. And I have muscle, and I'm strong, and I'm capable. But I was also raised with a very strong black mother. And she told me, if you're not happy with what they're asking, move on. And that's what I did. So everything I took with a grain of salt, and I always was capable, and I knew that I loved wrestling more than what I was doing there. I'm happy for my friends who got opportunities there. I'm so happy for my friends and my babies who have been wrestling there since. Believe me, I didn't think it would last this long. I thought TNA would have folded a long time ago.
Billy Corgan, goddamn you.
I mean, I'm so excited that they give opportunities to the girls that I actually care about, and that they're getting a little television exposure now. It's awesome for them. I don't like how much they're charging me to come in for Queens of Combat. But, you know, we're going to work it out, and I love them. I'm going to put that money in their pocket, but I'm going to make my money back on those DVDs and download sales. But it was just a really fun time, and I don't want people to forget what a fun time 2009 was. I was wrestling real wrestlers. I was wrestling models. I was wrestling on television, and that was the dream. So I'm super happy that we could all make fun of that time and nobody actually got hurt. A little pride every now and then. But I don't think if those bumps hadn't been taken that we wouldn't be here in 2016 watching a women's wrestling revolution and watching girls really kill it. And being appreciated to be able to kill it and being given the opportunity to kill it. Because back then we were given 3 minutes with entrance. 3 minutes with entrance, okay, go. And
but get your tits out there.
Don't forget to shake your ass in the camera. I know where the camera is.
Butthole.
I know where the camera is. Thank you very much. So, I don't know. It was fun. It was confusing. It was scary. I mean, you were getting paid sometimes you weren't. We were drinking, we were smoking, we were riding around in cars around Orlando, making new friends, and it was fun. It was a fun time in wrestling because TNA was that first new challenger to WWE, and it was like this big fuck you WWE. Why didn't you hire me?
Everyone there was saying,
"What the fuck? Why did you have me try out so many times if you already had 2 black girls and you can't have 3? Because TNA had 5." And that's why Queens of Combat has 6. That's what I'm talking about. That's where I'm at with it. So, yay, fun, good times. Let's look back, but I respect everything, and I respect Terry Taylor and what he was trying to do for me. And I had a good time, and if I hadn't done it, then, what would you have been watching? Because you're watching me the whole time. So,
Exactly. That's right. This
know.
was during my 7 years of stalking you.
So creepy.
known her for 9 before that, and only stalked her for 7.
So that's it. So,
here we are doing a podcast about it.
Right here in our house.
So
that we share together.
So stalkers out there is a happy
There
ending.
is.
Just keep at it, guys.
Just stay vigilant,
Persist.
guys.
Stay vigilant.
Keep your distance, but stay vigilant.
There has to be an A&E show or something, or like a Lifetime show where the stalker wins in the end. If you guys could get on that would be fantastic. That would really help our podcast out.
I really feel like somebody needs to shoot this because that's a really great angle.
Hey, maybe that's our new thing.
Yeah.
We put positive light on stalkers.
Well, I'm only releasing 4 podcasts this week. I might as well make it 5.
Let's go ahead. We're going straight video, buddy. We're going straight video.
Straight video. But anyways, thank you guys for coming together and talking about the show. It's been a lot of fun. And as always, for anybody out there that feels like we've missed something or there's some sort of correction or something you would like to discuss with the show, you can send your corrections or mistakes to me on Twitter at ManscoutManning. Or you can email me at jake@sslshow.com. Make sure you look at the website, howdidthisgetbooked.com, for all information about the show, especially merchandise and everything else that's on there. Also, too, make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/ManScoutManning, or follow on SoundCloud at ManScoutManning. Anyways, folks, this has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo!